We're heading into fall and the TV season, and there's a whole bunch of new shows coming, a whole ton of them. So what I thought is I would take this article that we have here from Variety. Variety put out a really interesting article with what they call the 33 most anticipated brand new shows coming in the fall of 2023. So I'm going to go down through them quickly. And then Chris, see if you can make a mental note of the ones that really stand out to you. And we'll go from there. All right, let's get things rolling here. And they're starting off with Lakeith Stanfield's The Changeling. Not to be mistaken with the classic movie, but The Changeling. It describes it as based on Victor Laval's best-selling book of the same name. The Changeling is billed as a fairy tale for grown-ups, including horror, parenthood stories, and a perilous odyssey through a New York City you didn't know existed. Of course, again, with Lakeith in there from being everything from Knives Out, which I thought he was great in a supporting role. Obviously, his role in Atlanta. He was really quite charming in the complete Disney flop, Haunted Mansion, but I really like him a lot. So The Changeling is one thing to keep your eyes on. All right, next up, it's already started, but The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon. It's described as, in the latest Walking Dead spinoff, which once featured Carol, but now does not. Daryl struggles to find out how he arrived in France and why he's here, hoping to find a way back home. Now, it's got Norman Reedus in it. I love Norman Reedus, but I'm not going to lie. I tapped out of everything Walking Dead like 5 years ago. I liked Walking Dead for what it was for a good number of years, but I eventually tapped out of it. And I'd be lying to you if I said I was interested in this, but hey, it's out there now. All right. We also got one that Ray loves, The Swarm. And it's described as, per the official description, after years of unrestrained pollution and relentless climate change, a mysterious force of the deep starts using the creatures of the ocean as hostile hosts and declares war on humanity. So Ray's been really excited about this. It sounds a little bit like that. What's that M. Night Shyamalan movie where the trees come to life?
The Mist?
No.
What was that?
Now I can't remember the name of it. The Happening? I think it was The Happening.
The Happening.
Yeah, with Mark Wahlberg. It sounds a little bit like that, but instead of trees, they're using whales to go around and kill people. Ray's enjoying it. It just started on September 12th. All right. This one sounds interesting, called The Other Black Girl. And this one is described as the drama based on Zakiya Dahlia Harris's novel follows editorial assistant Nella, the only young black woman at her company, who finds comfort when that finally changes. However, upon meeting Hazel, she quickly realized something sinister is going on at the company. What's got me interested about this is the combination of the description with the fact that it's Hulu. Hulu puts out some really good original stuff, and I think this one sounds pretty interesting. Next up, I got to admit, I'm very, very interested in this, is Wrestlers. This is a docuseries. Now, from the team behind Cheer and The Last Chance U, this 7-part docuseries follows the members of Ohio Valley Wrestling in Louisville, Kentucky, the wrestling gym that Brock Lesnar, The Miz, John Cena, Dave Bautista, and Randy Orton all trained at. Acclaimed wrestler Al Snow now struggles to keep the doors of the gym open and has to sell a majority of the stake to businessmen who give him the summer to turn things around and somehow save the gym. This is real drama, Chris. This is real drama. And I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be on Netflix. This one's going to be on Netflix. All right. Next up, Buddy Games. In the new competition series, so reality-based show, in a new competition series based on Josh Duhamel's own childhood tradition, 6 teams of long-term friends relive their glory days and compete in an assortment of absurd physical and mental challenges in the outdoors while bunking together in the same house. So it's got a little bit of a feel of Big Brother, a little bit of that. Again, we're going to see a lot of shows coming out soon that don't use writers, that are quote unquote reality based things. I've seen some commercials from this. I'd be lying to you if I said I was interested. This one's coming out on CBS.
That sounds like my personal nightmare. I have to be outdoors and play games and bunk with people. No, thank you.
It's like everything that Chris does not want to do.
Everything I hate.
All right. This one sounds kind of interesting. It's called Wilderness. And while Liv and Will appear to have a glamorous, solid marriage and life in New York, that all changes when she finds out that he's having an affair. He convinces her to take her dream road trip, trying to make amends. She agrees, seeing it as a very different prospect, a landscape where accidents can happen all the time, and the perfect place to get revenge. This actually sounds pretty good to me. It's coming out on Amazon Prime. I like the description of it. Jilted lovers movies and stories always kind of get me. I don't know why. Then we got an old Australian show that's been saved and is coming to North America now, called Neighbours. The Australian soap opera was canceled in 2022 after airing more than 3 decades, having launched the careers of Margot Robbie, Russell Crowe, the Hemsworth brothers, among others. Robbie even came back for what was thought to be the series finale. Later that year, though, Amazon Freevee rescued the soap, and the revival will pick up 2 years after that 2022 finale. The show will once again focus on the lives, loves, and challenges of the residents of Ramsay Street in Erinsborough, Australia, a fictional suburb of Melbourne. This is going to be, as it said in there, on Amazon Freevee. I've always heard of this show because of all the careers it launched. I don't have any interest in this myself.
Have you seen the clip that's going around social of Margot and Liam scene?
No, I didn't know they were in the show at the same time.
They were in the show at the same time. It's this ridiculous scene with the most stilted dialogue where Margot is just like, I just know you want to sleep with her. And he's like, It's great.
That is the ultimate response every guy should have when their girlfriend says, I know you want to sleep with her. All right. Next up, we got a show called Supermodels, which is fans of the David Fincher directed George Michael video for Freedom 90 Take Note. The 4-part series explains how Naomi Campbell, Cindy Crawford, Linda Evangelista, and Christy Turlington dominated the elite modeling world while illuminating a bond that single-handedly shifted the power dynamic of an entire industry. The doc also features interviews with acclaimed designers and photographers. This one is coming to Apple TV Plus. And listen, I don't give a crap about modeling or anything like that, but this sounds interesting to me. I'm probably going to check this out. All right. Then, of course, we got the Continental from the world of John Wick. Of course, the first trailers have dropped for this thing. Everybody's really excited about it. The 3-part streaming prequel series, which migrated from Stars to Peacock, explores the origin behind the iconic hotel for assassins, centerpiece of the John Wick universe, through the eyes and actions of a young Winston Scott, and he's dragged into the hellscape of 1970s New York City to face a past he thought he had left behind. Of course, this is coming out on Peacock. Everybody's excited about this, and I hope it's as good as the trailers make it look up to be. All right, then we got a show called Still Up. The 8-episode romantic comedy is set in the after-hours world of insomniacs Danny and Lisa, who have no secrets except their feelings for each other. This one's coming out on Apple TV Plus. Honestly, the fact that it's Apple TV Plus is the only reason I have any interest in this. Apple TV's got a pretty impressive batting average right now, so maybe I'll check this one out. Then there's one I've seen a lot of commercials for, especially during football, Crepopolis. This Dan Harmon-produced animated series, first ordered by Fox in June of 2020, is set in Crepopolis, in the mythical ancient Greece. The show tells the story of humans, gods, and monsters who are trying to run the city while attempting to get along. The characters include the mortal son of a goddess, who is the narcissistic king of Crepopolis, the powerful goddess of self-destruction, the goddess of self-destruction. Okay, I like that. And the Minotaur, half centaur, half manticore, the self-described life of the orgy. The show has already been renewed through season 3. Now, this is a Dan Harmon produced show. It's coming out on Fox. I don't know how look, all I know is that they must be really big on this before it even debuts. It comes out on the 24th of this month, that they've already renewed it all the way through season 3. I'm not gonna lie to you. The trailers have not looked good to me, but all right. This one I'm interested in. It's called The Irrational. It's a terrible title, but The Irrational, and NBC appears to be the only broadcast network that stockpiled a few of its scripted series in anticipation of the strike, and The Irrational is the first to premiere. It filmed 7 of its 10 seasons. Let me try this again. It filmed 7 of its 10 season 1 episodes. Based on Dan Ariely's book, Predictably Irrational, the show follows the world-renowned professor and behavioral scientist Alex Mercer as he uses his unique, unconventional skills to take on high-stakes government cases. Now, this has got Jesse L. Martin in it. who, of course, for those of you who watch CW's show, he was, of course, Flash's adopted dad in that show for a whole bunch of years. I remember him in Rent. But I was really excited to see him in this, and I like these crime procedurals, so I'm going to be interested in this. It's on NBC, starts on the 25th. Then we got something called Love in Fairhope. It's a docuseries that meets rom-com. Love in Fairhope follows 5 generations of women in the small town of Fairhope, Alabama. Per the log line, in this community, everyone knows everyone else's business, but no one knows where hopelessly romantic dreams, passions, and inspiration will take them all. Puke. It's got Reese Witherspoon, who's an executive producer on it, but I don't think she's in the show. It's going to debut on Hulu. All right, I'm going to start going through a little faster these because we still got a bunch to go. The Golden Bachelor. It's The Bachelor, but with a 71-year-old rich dude. I've never watched anything Bachelor related, so I have no interest in this. Gen V, the spinoff of The Boys, is coming out on Amazon Prime Video. It launches in, I think, 10 days. 10 days from now, The Boys spinoff Gen V starts. Really looking forward to that. We got Found, which is a public relations specialist and her team focused on the fact that more than 600,000 people, half of whom are people of color, are reported missing in the U.S. per year. However, the everyday hero is holding on to a secret of her own. This drama was supposed to be a mid-series series for NBC, but the network pushed it to this fall schedule so it could have original scripted content. This one sounds interesting, coming out on NBC on October 3rd. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Rocket Money. Did you know that the average person has around 12 paid subscriptions and they might not even remember to subscribing to half of those? If you have no idea just how much you're spending each month, you need Rocket Money. It's this great app that tracks all of your expenses so you know exactly where your money is going. I recently just found out that over 80% of people have subscriptions that they've completely forgotten about. Seriously, think about how many free trials you subscribe to that you just probably never canceled. And that's why I'm such a big fan of Rocket Money, because I was one of those people. When I signed up to Rocket Money, I was stunned to find out that a gym I had belonged to in another city I lived in, I had still been paying my dues to for over 2 years. Also, that music subscription service I use, I forgot I was subscribed to 2 other ones. That's where Rocket Money comes in, because Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. With over 3 million users and counting, Rocket Money customers have saved on average of $720 a year. So stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and manage your money the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/Campea. That's rocketmoney.com/Campea. rocketmoney.com/Campea. Then we got something called The Spencer Sisters and Sullivan's Crossing. This is more Canadian television from the Canadian television network CTV. A bunch of Canadian television has been successfully migrating over to the States lately. Things like Kim's Convenience, things like, why am I freezing on the name with Eugene Levy? I love the show.
Schitt's Creek.
Schitt's Creek, yeah. Shows like Schitt's Creek and others. They're hoping Spencer Sisters and Sullivan's Crossings can be the next one for that. I've never actually heard of either of them. The Fall of the House of Usher is one that's getting a lot of attention right now. They just dropped their first trailer this week on there. You got Luke Skywalker in it, which is kind of interesting. Based on the works of Edgar Allan Poe, the ruthless Usher siblings who have built a pharmaceutical empire uncover the family secrets when heirs begin dying at the hands of a mysterious woman from their past. This limited series is likely the last Netflix project for Mike Flanagan, the Haunting of House Hill creator, since he's since moved on with his company over to a new deal at Amazon. I saw the did you see the trailer for?
I did, and someone's eye is hanging out of their face.
Yeah, there's eye violence. Yeah, I knew when I saw that it wouldn't be good. I'm not gonna lie to you. I love the cast in this thing. Bruce Greenwood's in it. Again, Mark Hamill is in it, which is really interesting. It's got a really good stacked cast. I didn't like the trailer though myself. I didn't think it looked all that good. But it's from Mike Flanagan, so maybe I might check it out.
Yeah, he has a pretty good track record.
All right. Then we've got something called The House of Villains. This looks like a reality show with some C-level celebrities and stuff like that. It's going to be on E, so you can ignore it. Frasier is coming back. And oddly, look, Night Court came back recently and it's awful. Like really, really bad.
Oh, it's really bad.
Oh my, I loved the original Night Court. The new one was terrible. I had the same fears for Frasier. But I'll tell you what, I've been hearing from some people it's actually quite good. So I'm going to keep my fingers crossed for that. Next up, we got Lessons in Chemistry. This is set in the early 1950s. This drama follows hopeful scientists who accepts a job hosting a cooking show after being fired from the lab. She then sets out to teach a nation of overlooked housewives and the men who are suddenly listening a lot more than recipes. Based on Bonnie Gromus's best-selling 2022 novel of the same name. I don't know anything about it, but again, it's an Apple TV Plus show coming out in mid-October. I'll probably give it a shot just because it's an Apple TV Plus. All right. Then we've got Living for the Dead. The creators of Queer Eye introduce 5 fabulous queer ghost hunters. Wow, if that doesn't sound like a modern day concept, I don't know what else does. 5 fabulous queer ghost hunters crisis across the country, helping the living by healing the dead. The group explore infamous haunted locations and push past boundaries to accept both the living and the dead. Living for the Dead sounds like a title from 30 Rock, but let us at this gay ghost hunters reality show. It's got Kristen Stewart's going to be the narrator, so it's a reality-based thing. Ghost hunting meets Queer Eye for the straight guy. Okay, sure. Coming out on Hulu. Ghost hunting. All right. Then you got this thing called Fellow Travelers. This one's going to be on Paramount Plus. It looks like it's a drama. They say based on Thomas Maloney's novel. This is an epic love story and thriller highlighting the lives of 2 men who meet in McCarthy-era Washington. They begin a romance just as Joseph McCarthy and Roy Cohn declare war on subversive and sexual deviance, initiating one of the darkest periods of the 20th century American history. Look, I'm really actually into the history stuff and looking at stuff behind the scenes and history and tell these stories. So I'm into it. Sure, Paramount Plus, why not? Love Island Games. This sounds like another
reality show.
Reality one.
Yeah.
The Love Island spin-off series features fan favorite islanders from US, UK, and Australia as they arrive for a second shot at love and an all-new competition. The dramatic series, will stream 6 days a week on Peacock. Chris, I got to ask you, have you ever watched an episode of Love Island?
I have never watched Love Island.
I'm so proud of you.
Is I listened to, this is so dorky, it's the best though. I listened to a improvised musical podcast called Off Book that's amazing. And they did an episode about Love Island.
I'm proud to say I've never watched this. I have no intention to start now, but hey, different strokes for different folks. There are people out there that like this stuff and maybe they'll be excited about this. All right. All the Light We Cannot See. This is a 4-part limited series, tells the story of a blind French girl and her father who, per the Netflix logline, flee German-occupied Paris with legendary diamond to keep it from falling into the hands of the Nazis. Along the way, they find surprise connections in people, hope, and faith. Based on Anthony Doerr's Pulitzer Prize-winning novel from 2017. This sounds great to me, actually. So it's going to be on Netflix November 2nd. I love these types of stories. Sign me up for this one. 4-parter is interesting too. You don't often see Netflix do stuff like that.
No.
Then we've got something called The Buccaneers. It looks like another period piece. The 8-episode drama inspired by Pulitzer Prize-winning author Edith Wharton's unfinished final novel of the same name tells the story of a group of fun-loving American girls in 1870s London set to find a husband and, in turn, kicking off an Anglo-American culture clash in the land of the stiff upper lip is infiltrated by a refreshing disregard for centuries of tradition. Nah. Imogen Waterhouse is in it. That's interesting. Apple TV Plus, November 8th. Then we've got another new show coming called Murder at the End of the World. In this mystery series, a reclusive billionaire invites a Gen Z amateur sleuth and tech-savvy hacker, along with 8 other guests, to take part in a retreat at a remote location. Well, it sounds like the beginning of most 1960s horror things. When one guest is found dead, the young detective skills are put to the test. I don't know, this kind of sounds like a Knives Out kind of ripoff or something like that. Anyway, this is going to be on FX. We'll stream on Hulu. Comes out November 14th. Then I know a lot of people have been excited about this. Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. The 2010 movie Scott Pilgrim vs. the World did not do well at the box office, but has since become a cult classic. In this 8-episode animated series featuring the original cast and based on Brian Lee O'Malley's graphic novels that led to the film, Scott Pilgrim must defeat the evil exes of the girl of his dream. Do you know much about? I know you mentioned this. I think you were the first person to mention this one to me. Is this something you're looking forward to?
I'm so excited about this. I love these comics. I loved that movie. Ah, bring it on. I'm so pumped. And it's the original cast. It's all the original cast.
Yeah, it's all the
coming back to
original
revoice
voice
it.
guys, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
All right, next up, we got something called Bookie. Just that image makes me interested. Chuck Lorre's first show for Max and his first and only streaming show since the Kaminsky Method, which was a big hit for them for Netflix. Mm-hmm. In this buddy comedy, a longtime bookie and his partner in crime struggled to survive amid the impending legalization of sports gambling in Los Angeles. I love it already. This is going to be on Max. Yeah, what happens to sports bookies once sports betting becomes legal? I love the idea. I've not even heard of this show, but I'm so down. It's going to be in Max in November. All right, then this is one we've been talking a lot about. Monarch, Legacy of Monsters. It's the new Godzilla show that's going to be on Apple. This sci-fi drama is in partnership with Legendary and is from the same cinematic universe as Godzilla, Kong Skull Island, Kong King of the Monsters, and Godzilla vs. Kong, and the upcoming sequel, Kong x Godzilla, The New Empire. Taking place after the Godzilla and the Titans battle confirm monsters are real, the show tracks two siblings following in their father's footsteps. Well, we've talked about this on the show before, what the synopsis of the show is. Listen, I got to tell you, I thought the trailer for this was great. I'm very excited about it. We'll see how it turns out. It is scheduled to come out in November on Apple TV+. Then we've got Faraway Downs. The 6-episode limited series is a reimagining of Baz Luhrmann's 2008 film Australia, comprised of footage captured for the movie and an expanded version of the story with a new ending. This is with Nicole Kidman, Hugh Jackman. So really, they're taking the movie, adding additional footage, and then editing it and reimagining it as a series?
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that either. As you would say, for why?
Yeah, it's a big for why.
Huh. Anyway, apparently this is going to be a Fox. No, it's going to be on Hulu.
Okay.
In November. And yeah, so that's all of them, Chris, that we have there. I mean, obviously some of the big ones. We've got the Godzilla one, very excited about.
Yeah.
The
So
Scott
excited.
Pilgrim one is one a lot of people are excited about. The John Wick one, a lot of people excited about that. Some of those dramas sounded pretty, especially the period piece one. Apple Plus has a couple of interesting looking ones. Any one of those like really stand out to you that you're excited about?
Man, what you just talked about, I'm very, very here for. I am very excited about the Changeling. First of all, Apple TV, Lakeith, Grown Up Fairy Tale, say less. Like, I'm here for it. I'm excited about it. I love everything they put forward. The other black girl looks like Severance meets Sorry to Bother You, plus has Eric McCormick. So I'm very interested in that because it looks very mysterious and like something nefarious is going on there.
You know what else it sounds like a little bit? Remember Red Eye with Rachel
Yes.
McAdams? Which the trailers made it look like it was a supernatural horror movie. It is not.
No.
But so it doesn't remind me of the ad campaign, but it actually, the other black girl sounds a little bit like the tone and feel that maybe Red Eye had a little bit, where something that you think is good that comes in your life isn't so good. That sounds interesting to me.
Yeah, I'm really interested in that one. And then, yeah, the Jesse L. Martin procedural. You know me, I love murder. Let's go.
Let's go. As long as they don't touch the eyes.
As long as they don't touch eyes, they can do anything else.
Murder is great.
It's so fun.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.